All
All
right, so
right, so
CJ
CJ
might
might
gotta
gotta
like
like
turn
turn
off
off
the
the
spaces.
spaces.
You know,
Um,
if you
if
can
you
hear
can
me,
hear me,
just
just
comment
comment
on
on
YouTube, and
YouTube,
then
and
you
then
could
you can
come
come
back.
back.
Tell them leave me alone. Swimming in my drip, two fishes in the pond. Tell them leave me alone.
We're gonna do this one the right way. Pisces. I don't wanna know your name, cause I might just feel your pain. Might just risk my life to keep you dry when it rains. Might just fall in love, a little hug can make me stay. Mystics make me soft, just like a moth to a flame. Show me where's the crowd and I'll be proud to just obey. And if you're not around, then I'll be proud to take your place. I'ma roll this loud while I go down and relocate. And I'ma take a bow and then throw thousands in your face. I'm a G, I'm the centerpiece, you can't settle me. I repeat, when my enemies tell them come and see, they retreat. I'm their water sign, sweep you off your feet. In these streets, I'm here all the time. How come we ain't meet? Got some thoughts up in my head, now I can't sleep cause they cut deep. I keep tossing in this bed cause I'm so bleak, I get cold feet. I get tired of people walking all on me like I'm some cleats. I get tired of people trying to rattle me, I need my peace. I keep tossing in this bed cause I'm so bleak, I get cold feet.
Be cooking. Let's see.
All
All
right,
right, can you hear me, CJ?
All right,
All right,
CeeLo, say
CeeLo, say
something,
something,
CeeLo.
CeeLo.
What up? What up?
Can you hear
Can you hear
CeeLo?
CeeLo?
Welcome to Riddle Radio.
All right,
All right, bet. You can come back, CJ.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right,
All
man.
right, man. Let's rock and roll.
But yeah, I can hear y'all clearly.
Hey, before you start, Deuce, I know you put up there the social media. Are we doing the social media joint or are we doing the DC joint?
We're
Gonna just start off with the social media joint,
and
and
then
then
we're gonna
we're
get
gonna get
into
into
the
the
social
social
media.
media joint.
Just
Start
start off.
off with DC.
Got you. Got you.
All right, man. Let's get right into it. Appreciate all y'all for pulling up. Welcome to Riddle Radio.
That's RITL Radio.
All
one show, and we're gonna be doing this
10
o'clock on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock.
We're
We're
gonna
gonna
be
be
talking
talking
about
about
everything,
everything,
right?
whatever the hot topics
and
or some things that we want to discuss. So today, the topic is going to be like the federal government taking over DC, police patrolling the area, like how that's affecting not just DC, but all of the US.
Because now there are a lot of other cities, mainly Chicago,
that's starting to cry out for help in that manner from Trump, from President Trump to do the same thing there. Trell said there's an echo.
I ain't hear it going, man. Let me go back.
Yeah, Trell said there's an echo. Ruby said she can hear me. I don't hear echo on my end. I know I could hear it before. I don't really hear it on my end. Is it still an echo, Trell? Because the PC is not on. Turn the PC off. So it should be an echo.
But yeah.
Tia said definitely an echo. Welcome, Tia. But the spaces you don't hear echo though, do you?
No, not in the spaces.
Yeah, it's a little echo, bro.
Okay. Let me try this.
Trail, what about now, Trail? Is there echo now, Trail? Riri, Tia, is there echo? Is this better? Is there echo now? All right, bam, we cooking. All right, bet. So I don't know, a lot of you know, but just FYI, like you can YouTube, I mean, like I'm on my Surface and I can talk on Spaces. So I don't even know, like, do you see two of my accounts? I don't know, but I can talk through Surface now, PC. So I don't know if it's all PCs or just my Surface. I know iPads and all. I don't know if it lines up the same. But yeah, so that's how we're gonna do it up in the Jumbotron. This is airing right now on YouTube also. So if you grab a mic, you're consenting that you don't mind being on YouTube, and it's just going to be your voice and your AVI. Oh, somebody says echo in the space now.
Yeah, I was about to tell you that I ain't want to interrupt you.
I don't hear us. I don't hear us echo in the space. That's weird. Maybe make sure that whoever's listening on YouTube aren't listening to both at the same time.
Yeah, don't listen. You can't have both of them on at the same time. See if that works.
No, it's not you, Ceelo. Deuce the one that sound a little. I don't know if it's an echo or it's a reverb, but it's definitely there.
In the space. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me see something.
So right now there wasn't an echo, but it was a few minutes ago.
All right, so it sounds good on the YouTube. What about now? Is it echo now, CJ?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
No, not on X.
Yeah, I think he's there. Yes, sir.
I wanted to try someone else to make sure you guys are hearing echo other than you. All right, bet. Just want to check.
Hey, Deuce, so doing this, do you want us to listen through Twitter or do you want us to listen through the app? Doing this, do you want us to listen or through YouTube?
And make sure you know whatever device or whatever method you choose, it's one or the other.
All right, so
Yeah,
they
so
can't
you
hear
won't
me.
get feedback.
Let me try one more thing because they said they can't hear me on YouTube.
What
What
can
can
you
you
all
all
hear
hear
me
me
on
on
YouTube
YouTube
now?
now?
Is it
Is
an
it an
echo?
echo?
Does
Does
X have
X
an
have an
echo?
echo?
No, you're good.
X don't have an echo.
Okay,
Tia
Tia
Trail,
Trail,
does
does
YouTube
YouTube
have an
have an
echo?
echo?
I also feel like Deuce, you don't have an echo on X, but I feel like when other people talk on X, they may have an echo.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Do I have an echo? I know CJ had an echo on X.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah, CJ still kind of has an echo.
I'm gonna
Reaver, you
drop. I'm
sound
gonna
good.
drop it. Check that.
Yeah, CJ should probably drop. Riri, you sound good when you talk 2 seconds
I think
ago.
I had an echo too.
Thanks, Ceelo.
All right. What about now? Do I have an echo on YouTube?
No.
No echo on YouTube. All right. What about X? Do I have an echo on X?
No.
All right. Hey, all right. If you're not coming up here to talk, I'm putting nothing in my jumbo.
I'm better.
All right. I think we're good. So I gotta
you're
stop.
better.
I gotta stop hitting the mic on the phone. I'm so used to it when we talking that I keep hitting the phone mic and I don't need to because I got the PC on. So I think we're good on X and YouTube. All right, appreciate that. I think we're good. Maybe I should take a picture of it. Yeah, I think we're good. All right. So again, like everything is in the Jumbotron. We're not going to, this is like the radio is not about like debates, it's just discussions. Give your point. We might have asked you to follow up off of your point, you just follow up, but that's about it. The same thing when we do sports, the Commanders radio in the morning. It's not going to be any debates, any just giving your points, how you feel about something, and we might ask a little follow up or something like that. But then that's it. And if you grab a mic, you're consenting to be heard on YouTube. And please don't just sit up in the box and not say anything during the discussion. If you don't have anything to add to the discussion, just go, down and listen and then come back up if something changes. All right, I think we're good. And this is the radio station, so every, 15 minutes or something, you might hear a little bit of music, but here's the intro that Ceelo chose for the show, and then we're going to get right into it.
You can check it out on YouTube if you care.
That jump. Somebody else might gotta play it because I can't hear it and I ain't messing with it. I don't know what Robo. I was trying to call Robo. He can do the music. Maybe CJ can do it. Can you put up All Pisces, Ceelo, by Trev Ryan?
Yeah, I got you. 1 second.
Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is just a few minutes we're going to spend on the federal takeover in DC. How do you all think it's affecting the community? Do you think it's a plus? Do you think it's a negative? And do you think he's going to extend it? Because I think it's for 30 days, and I think they're working on trying to extend it. And how do you think it affects the rest of the U.S.? Because I know there are some cities like in Chicago where they're crying out for help. I also think not Nashville. What's that city in Tennessee, man? Oh man, I forgot the name of it. Not Nashville. I forgot, man. I forgot the name of it. But
you think about Memphis?
Memphis, yep. They were also crying out to send federal troops there. So Chattanooga, Trail said.
Chattanooga.
Yeah. So yes, you can start it off and then we can just go around the room and have those discussions. And those of you that's on YouTube, if you want to put it like a comment on how you want to feel about it, I'll read it on X. But go ahead, Ceelo.
Let me start the discussion off.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this is a topic that felt appropriate given where we are in this administration, where we are in our relationship with the police. And so we just felt like it was a good topic to kind of kick it off because it's relevant. It's happening right now for some of us who are local in our backyards, but also this could be coming into your city, right? You know, I know we have listeners, you know, right now in Dallas, New Jersey, and other parts of the country, and these measures could end up affecting, you know, your you know, your hometown. Um, you know, one of the things that I'll just mention, and I'm gonna touch a little bit on the political side of it a little bit, is this is probably something that doesn't really bode well for, you know, for the Democratic Party, right? Because historically speaking, they haven't really been known to be, and I say historically, I say with the last 40, 50 years, known to be really, really like tough on crime, right? Outside of the 90s, when you had the, you know, the infamous, you know, bills that were cracking down on the crack epidemic that that affected mostly the Black and brown community. That was more of the penal code. Now you're talking about more of the, you know, fighting crime directly on the streets, like face to face, right? You know, uniformed police officers, National Guard, et cetera, all the agencies fighting crimes. And so I guess just to say all that to say, you know, it's interesting that, you know, and get your perspectives and get our perspectives on how we feel about police presence, increased police presence, more than just your local sheriff departments, in the presence of your hometown, and how that makes you feel. You know, do you feel safer? Do you feel it's you know, disingenuous? Do you feel like it doesn't matter about politics? You just want to make sure crime is cleaned up. Like, you know, that I think that's the answer the question we're trying to answer. And how this affects, you know, our community, both short term and long term. You have any thoughts on that, Deuce?
Yeah, I think if it's successful, right? Like, at first it was a little resistance because it kind of came out of nowhere, and DC responded. Well, we all know what happened, right? Someone that worked for Doge was assisting someone in a robbery, and they ended up getting beat up. So it got to Eli, and it kind of blew up from there, right? And that's how it kind of started. So then they started talking about the numbers, the crime rate. The DC provided numbers which showed that the crime has gotten better over the last 10 years. So now there's an investigation that they provided false numbers, right? That they juked the system to make it look like it was better than what it was. So now they're about to investigate that. So I don't know what's going to come up out of that. But if this is successful, like as the president, you can't just focus on. I know this is the capital. I know this is where you live in the sense of the president, 1600 Pennsylvania. But if it's, I keep going, man. Hold on. Sorry, man. I'm so used to hitting the phone, bro. So like it's other cities around the world are watching, and if this is effective, they're going to want it there too. And I wonder what that's going to look like if that is the case, right? Because now you're pulling all of these different law enforcements from all of these different agencies, and you're stretching them out thin across these different cities. What is that going to look like? How is that going to affect crime across the country within the next 10 years? Because though you're pulling them from cases they should be working on, and it's everyone, special victims unit. So you're pulling those people, and you know how backed up SVU is with cases, right? And we're talking about abuse, child abuse, rape, all of those different things. You're pulling them away from that to put them in a city to try to reduce crime. What about the justice for those people? Like, I think it's so many things that can happen from this, from what's happening now, that it's going to have a lasting impact once we look back from 10 years. But it's really going to depend how effective it is now.
Yeah, and I'll just say, oh, I got some feedback. Y'all still with me? All right. So hopefully, we'll get it fixed up. But yeah, so just first, what is it? It started out, I think, almost about a week into it now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been out and about in around downtown DC and in different places, and I've noticed the increased presence. Definitely, it's definitely obvious of what what you're seeing. I know some, you look at social media, it's painting a picture that they're only in places like high value areas, the Capitol, Union Station, et cetera. But they're in the neighborhoods too, so they're everywhere. I think the part that's a little bit concerning, I think, for certain communities is like it's disproportionately in areas that are Black and brown. But in addition to that, they're also in areas that are typically a little bit more higher crime rates. And so I guess the question is, should that be taken into consideration when you're talking about deploying this type of effort, or do you just not care? You're trying to stop crime. You just got to deal with the consequences later. I know for me personally, I don't, I live in somewhat of a diverse community, and so I've seen them walking around. I've seen them strapped up or whatever. It's a bizarre feeling, right? Because you kind of feel like you're in a little bit of a police state or a situation where you just, if you're not used to seeing uniformed officers everywhere, in an American city, it's a different vibe. So I think that's the part that I feel like you start to get into. Okay, is this even legal? Is it constitutional? Like, why are we, in this mode? But at the same time, it's a toss up. At the same time, you're like, well, shoot, man, we got carjackings, and we got all these other activities occurring that you really would like to see go away. But so you're like, are you willing to sacrifice your constitutional rights for a few weeks, few months of police state activities? Or are you willing to just do something? Do you want to go the other side and say, do we need to look at the root cause? Like, why are we even having some of these issues? Why are we having, these young people out here robbing people? Should we focus on that part, which is more of a long-term solution, or should you do both? Right. So that's kind of where I come from, in this conversation. But yeah, walking down the street, man, it's weird. I ain't gonna lie. It's a little bit. I mean, you're not talking about MPD, right? Metro Police Department, which is DC Police Department. You're talking about MPD. You're talking about FBI, CIA. You got plainclothes cop who don't really look plainclothes because they look like they stick out like a sore thumb. You got CIA, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very, very, very diverse set of agencies.
So And I was just thinking, bro, like if the audio is working on the PC, like why do I need my phone? I just thought about that. Right? Like, but I don't want to end the space and leave off my phone. But we'll stay right here, and at the end, once we wrap up, if a couple people willing to stay behind and kind of help us work out the kinks, we appreciate it. But this is what Smoke said, and then CJ. You can come off because you was about to come off a little while ago, but you can kind of answer this from Smoke. He said, our youth is crying for help in the city. I don't think this was deployed the right way. We must find a way to bridge the gap between the badges and the youth.
Okay, appreciate that, Smoke. Good point. I guess my question, and CJ, you can come off mute when you're ready, but maybe this is a complicated question, so I apologize. But like, why is there such distrust between? And this is, again, I apologize if it comes off like ignorant, but I'm curious of what you guys think. Why do you think there's such mistrust or distrust between the youth and police officers, or uniformed police officers. And so if a uniformed police officer comes to your neighborhood or comes to your community to try to quote unquote help, why is that not considered to be a good thing?
Well, like for me, like when I was growing up, I was in a summer camp, and that summer camp was ran by MPD officers. It was called Bridging the Gap. Um, and like the crazy thing is, like I don't even think that summer camp exists anymore. And I think that helped, sort of like bridge the gap because like when you as far as the youth and the police, like if you have programs like that, then you can find results, man. But then you see, where there's a major drop off as far as employment in DC police as well. And we don't know why there has been such a drop off. Like they're pushing to like get people to join the police force. But I think it's what I really think is like it's just the social media and everything that's been going on. I know it ain't been happening here in DC per se, but like when you see police brutality, around the nation and stuff like that, it kind of leaves it leaves a bad taste in all police, not just in that particular city, but everywhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with CJ. Just like with my own sons, that's really, their take on the police. They're so distrusting, just from the past and what they've seen. So, and even, some of their friends have experienced it. So that's where the disconnect is for them, right? So they don't relate, they don't feel like they're there to help them. If anything, they're just there to um put them in cuffs, send them to jail for whatever reason. So they are vigilant, but they also just don't, they just don't, they don't have the trust.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trail, Smoke, or Tia, can y'all hear me okay? Don't have an echo or anything? Can somebody, a listener, just request up? I want to see what it looks like on the surface. You don't have to come up and talk. I just want to see what it looks like. But yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's like you don't, like, we, especially black people, right? Like, is when police is around, you get anxiety. Like, I don't care who you are, right? And just seeing regular beat cops gives you anxiety, right? Like they might say, "Hey, what you doing? What's going on?" It might be something real simple, and you might get the, "What you mean? What I'm doing? I ain't doing nothing." Like, it's just normal. But now it's, you're not just seeing blue, right? Like, you're seeing fatigue, you're seeing Kevlar vests, you're seeing AR-15s, like you're seeing uh 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 armored trucks. You're seeing 5 or 6 of them just walking around, in they Desert Storm boots and in they glasses and hats. Like, just imagine what that feel like. Like, if you're already on edge by seeing the blue, now you're seeing the fatigue and the all black and the vet. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how this is going to work. And a lot of the videos we're seeing, it's like they don't even really care about like the law in a sense, because it's like martial law in a sense, right? Like, they just doing what they want. Like, they don't have to tell you what agency they work for. They got shiesties covering up their whole face. They don't have their badge number showing, like any of that, right? And it was no training for this. So you got, like, you could probably have someone coming from North Dakota or something coming to DC. Bro, those entirely two different environments. How can you expect for them to police fairly if they don't even know what they're dealing with, right? So, like, I don't know, like, I don't know, man. I just don't see that there may be a fear thing, but the folks that's out there doing the crazy stuff, that's committing the crimes, it's not doing the crime is not the problem, right? It's the consequence. And we often believe that we're not going to get caught, right? So like, why do something if you believe you're going to get caught, right? Unless you just have a mental breakdown, and we see like mass shootings and stuff like that, and people take their lives. But robbing somebody, taking somebody's car, knocking somebody out, like, you don't think you're going to get caught. You think you're just going to be able to do it and get away with it. And I think, like, I don't think that's going to stop.
That was my question to you, Ceelo and to Deuce. Because I don't live there and you guys do, and so you see it, right? So is that just going to be with all that presence? Is it just going to be a deterrent, right? For those particular areas. So if they're still going to commit crimes and what else not, do you think all that's just going to be pushed out further, or it's still, it's still happening, but now it's just not in DC or in the city?
Yeah, I think I feel like the presence of these uniformed officers will definitely deter in this area. And now will folks just decide to move out of any outskirts, like the suburbs of DC and the metropolitan area? Yeah, but potentially, potentially, which will have to be a Maryland and Virginia issue and how they deal with that.
No,
But I
Ceelo,
think
what I'm asking is more of the crime, right?
yeah,
Will the crime just be pushed out to
right.
the suburbs instead of like the city?
Right. No, I agree. And I think it's a possibility. I don't know. I mean, I think there does today, there already exists. There's crime going on in the suburbs right now. If you'll talk to locals here in the district in Maryland and Virginia, Northern Virginia, there's crime going on in PG County, Montgomery County, and St. Charles County. So it's already an issue. Now, is it to the level of DC? I don't know. I don't know the specific statistics. And then a side note for everyone listening, we will be, in some of these topics we're going to talk about, we will be having guests on that are experts in the fields and the conversations we're going to have. And so this particular, our inaugural, radio show here, we didn't bring on anyone in particular, but in the future we will have a few folks that could talk about that, because one of the things we got to understand is what are the laws that allow this to happen, and whether or not what he's doing is an executive order and under his existing authority, or is it something that has to kind of be interpreted with with the federal bench. And if that's going to be challenged, but I believe it has been challenged, and so that's to be determined of what the ultimate
DC wants. So, the Attorney General, DC AG, they won because, remember, Trump I'm sorry, not him specifically, but his Attorney General had put somebody, whoever, I forgot what the person's name was, and put them in place as chief, right, to take over whatever. So the DC AG did whatever they needed to do in the courts or whatever, and they got it overturned. So the person they literally just hired like 2 months ago is back in control of DC PD. So they're working in conjunction now.
Okay, got it. So I believe we sued, or I should say we, but DC sued to try and get that injunction. So, but yeah, to answer your question, Riri, it definitely can push out to the suburbs these crimes that's trying to be stopped out to the outskirts. They're already happening to an extent. They're already happening. It's just right now the concentration is DC. DC has been visibly, like without statistics on hand, visibly they've had an uptick in crime, right? Petty crimes, or carjackings, vandalism, things like that, and that's what he's talking about, right? And if you're a resident of DC, your perspective may be different, right? I think a lot of us feel like we're fine, we're safe. It's probably a little bit of an uptick, but we personally don't feel unsafe. But so some of this is a little bit of smoke and mirrors, and now some of it is maybe legitimate. But I think the bigger question, though, is this going to start a rolling wave of police presence in major cities around this country that are predominantly, let's be honest, Black and brown people and communities? And are we okay with that type of approach? In addition, and giving the context where there may be crime to a level that's unacceptable. How do we challenge that? How do we feel about that? What do we do to affect that that sort of behavior from this administration? Should we go with? Is that Mitch? Is that you, Mitch?
Yeah. What's up, Ceelo and Deuce? How you doing?
Good evening, Mitch.
Yeah.
What say you?
Yeah, I just wanted to come up and just give my experience about just growing up in the DMV and where we're at specifically in the moment. And pretty much I was out there in DC this weekend. I went to the Care First Arena down in Southeast to watch the Mystics play. And to what Deuce was saying earlier, as far as how does that affect, the tourists and the visitors, like when you come to DC, as far as I know, growing up in this area, I grew up in Alexandria, and I moved out to Loudoun County, so I could talk a little bit about what's going on over there too. It was always like, DC was the capital. It was always moving. It was so diverse. It's so diverse. There's so many different cultures, and that's one thing that tourists always talk about when they talk about DC is the variety and how diverse the city is. And what I seen this weekend was not what DC is, right? Like it almost looked like a ghost town, and it just felt very, very weird and unsatisfying. So for me growing up, it was like with DC, there was always police. As far as I know, every time, I would come out party in U Street or whatever, the police were always around. Like there was always law enforcement around the streets. But what I noticed was it was very lackadaisical. Like there was really no enforcement unless things got to that point, right? For the most part, you go to a club and then there'll be a fist fight, and the police would be standing right there, literally right there. When you cross that bridge and you come to DC, the police are always right there. But what I noticed just growing up in this area, there was really there was no enforcement until shit hit the fan. And it's like all of a sudden now, all the laziness, this is just my perspective. It's like now you want to enforce it. It's coming off wrong to the kids. It's coming off wrong to the people that live there, the people all around. Because it's like when there's action to be made, you can't wait to the last minute to where crime is unbearable. Now all of a sudden you want to do something. Just growing up in this area too, it was known that, hey, if you're driving out in the city in Alexandria, cross the bridge, go to DC, because they won't chase you. Like you could have a high speed chase in DC, and law enforcement, they were, if I'm wrong, they were told that you're not allowed to chase people in DC. So that was something that I knew growing up. Is like, hey, if you got something in the car, or you're around DC and you could cross the bridge to make it home free, whatever it is, like that's a part of the crime too, because you have so many people crossing that bridge and they know for a fact that they could blow red lights. They could, the police are not going to chase them. That's just another incentive for people living there to commit crimes. And like I was saying earlier too, like you could go to a club and go outside, the police is standing right there. People getting in fist fights. I seen one time some dude hit a dude in the face with a belt, and the police standing right there watching them. They and it's like, yo, they always been on every street, but they don't really take action until they get the what? The stabbing calls, the robbery calls, or they get the shooting calls. That's the only time they actually want to be police. is when shit's already hit the fan. A lot of this could have been prevented. Now, to Ceelo, what you're saying as far as Northern Virginia and the crime rate, right? I live in Loudoun County now, right? And even with the metro is now coming out. It's been out here for a couple years. I believe it's the Silver Line. And these homeless people, where you think they go? If you gonna push them out, they got the metro. They could go anywhere on that metro, you know. And we're already starting to see people. My wife works at this salon, Solar, not to put too much information out. These homeless people are sleeping inside the building, right? So if these homeless people, they already know, like, we got to find somewhere to go. Where you think they're gonna go? The Silver Line is right there. So, you know, this is there's a better way to go about this, but I just feel like at this point, all the laziness and, you know, they like everything has got out of whack. And because everything's out of whack now, all of a sudden, like when I was at Care First Arena, like it's the same shit. Like Southeast is still the same. Like you're gonna go to these blocks and do what? It's the same. Homeless. Like we need resources. You know, like that's what we need. We need resources. We need to give back to these communities to build, like what CJ was saying, right? Like interact with the community. Let the community know that you on their side. Thank you for the mic.
But see, to be honest with you, man, and I hate to do this, but at some point you gotta blame the mayor too. You know what I'm saying? Like the mayor, the mayor.
Is that me or CJ?
Nah, CJ may have gotten a phone call.
Must got a Detroit call.
So yeah, while he's coming back, I'll just say that's all great points, Mitch, and I agree with you 100%. You know, as far as resources are concerned, I think, you know, so I'm gonna speak a little bit biased, right? I'm a big proponent of self-policing, right? You know, taking care of each other, taking care of our community, making sure, you know, kids, making sure people are taken care of within their four walls and with outside their four walls. And so as things kind of got out of hand, you had a little bit of a self-correction. I'm not advocating violence or anything like that. I'm just saying, you know, there used to be a sort of like pride in how you took care of each other, one another, throughout life, throughout, you know, your journey, because everyone's going through life, everyone's got stuff they're dealing with. And so you helped each other out. I think a sense of that has left the community. And so things have kind of run amok. And so now you have this outside executor trying to quote unquote fix things, even though it's maybe not genuine, but that's what it looks like. And so you starting to see what you're talking about, resources, right? The resources, I understand, there's several resources, right? Mental health, there's economic for housing. You're moving out these homeless people. Where are they going to go? To your point, they're going to hop on a metro and go wherever they can go, whatever they can go to find shelter, right? They're literally taking a homeless person and all of their belongings and throwing them into a truck and making them figure it out. So that's not helping anything. So all of these actions that you're saying and you're talking about are extremely temporary. None of this is going to be permanent. None of this is going to help the long-term benefit of any city. And just last thing I'll say is the DA, his name is Larry Krasner of Philadelphia. He's already ready for them to come to Philadelphia. He's like, we will welcome it. You know, so that's just an example of where this is going.
So what he's saying that Ceelo, okay, so I live in Dallas, so I don't go downtown when it's dark, but you know, there's that certain area, Deep Ellum, and it's just been really bad in the last probably 6 months, maybe a year, where I tell Malik, don't go down there, right? Because there's always shootings, robberies, it's just, I mean, killings, right? And during the day it's fine, but it's the nighttime, right? So right now they've blocked off those streets at 10 o'clock, right? You can still walk through there, but it doesn't, you know, just the cars can't go through there. But it's still the same, in my opinion, still kind of the same thing. So I don't know if if it keeps escalating, I don't know if that would happen here, because that's really the major where the major crimes are happening right now. So I don't know. It could happen, actually.
Yeah. So like my bad. I don't know how the app just crashed like that, but um what I was saying is like, this city needs a true leader. And since the Bowser administration has, been here, it hasn't been good as far as the crime rate. Like I was reading over the numbers earlier today, like as far as recovered firearms from the moment she took office up until now, the numbers have doubled. They have doubled. The numbers from 2024 had went down a little bit, but like the numbers were just trending up, since she's been in office. The homicide numbers, like, so far, like in 2024 was 187, but again, like the last 20 years, like it's the numbers have, they sort of doubled, and so things need to change. Like, it needs to change. I don't know if the leadership needs to change, but you know, the mayor is part of the problem, but also, just like I think this is what CeeLo said earlier, is that we need to come together as a people. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough of that. It's just not enough of that. And I believe is if we just start to come together as a community, you might see better results.
And I think to your point, CJ, and um, the self-policing that Ceelo had mentioned, and what Mitch was saying is absolutely true, right? Like it wasn't just, I'm still with Mitch. It wasn't just Virginia. It was Maryland, PG County also, right? In the 90s, you could commit a crime in PG County or DC, and you can cross over, and they can't chase you anymore, right? They have to call it in and try to. By that time, you're already gone. But once they started moving people out, right? Once they capers, right? Once they got rid of capers, some of the garden, they changed Kentucky courts into a senior citizens facility to prep and prepare for the national stadium, right? So just imagine you have this huge projects. So like where you see the national stadium at, like on the other side of M Street, like those stores, and I think that's what's the name of it? They got the TVs outside and all that in the metro. Like all that was projects. All from there all the way back to 395, all that was projects. So just imagine how many people in those projects that they took from here, from that spot, and they moved them into PG County, right? And also not just there, but Washington View, Chesapeake. I mean, not Parkchester. Oh man,
The farm,
yeah. Okay, well, this is crazy. Anacostia,
the farms,
Berry Farms,
mm.
and right above Berry Farms, that apartment
Ooh,
complex.
Garfield Terrace too.
Yeah, so like they moved all of these and they put them in PG County, right? So the crime rate tripled in PG County. Like you can see if you ever go and you track once the Nationals were coming back, if you track from that time over a 10 to 15 year period, just watch how the crime increased in PG County, right? That's the point where a lot of people started moving from PG County to go out to Waldorf, right? Because they was moving all of these projects and they was putting it right over there and putting everybody over there in PG
Hmm.
County. So I say that to say, Mitch, is that what they didn't do for Virginia, but they did it for PG County, is they had a task force. They had to create a task force with DC Police and PG County. So now you couldn't just cross over and just go to Maryland and they stopped. Like they was able to continue to chase you because they created this task force. But the part about like with CJ, when you was talking about like the mayor, like it's been horrible for years, bro. Like it was when Marion Barry was in office. Say whatever you want. When he was in office, everyone had money. All the kids had money when he was in office, especially summer jobs, right? After school programs. Like everybody, where we all had money. We might ain't do nothing, but we went and we sat in those, did whatever, but everybody had money. You know what I mean? Right. So there's no reason for you to take somebody else's money because you have money. People who usually take money from someone is people that don't have it. Right. So like it's just been bad. And just I mean DC itself, bro, like it has gotten better, but it's only gotten better because the surrounding areas have gotten worse. And that's because they're moving folk from here and they are moving into the surrounding areas because they want to make DC clean. And they're really either push them to PG County or they're pushing them over the bridge. So I don't know if anyone has, CJ, I know you work over on that side. Ceelo, I know you be over there on that side of Go Hope over there. I try not to go over that joint.
It don't even look it don't even look the same, bro.
Because I don't have to. But not so much, but I know they fixing it up. But like, is there a presence over there in Southeast, like 30th and Alabama and
what you mean is their presence?
Like with the federal presence.
I haven't, like, to be honest, I haven't seen it, you know, and typically like, you know, like during lunchtime I'll ride with my coworker and then we'll go up 30th, we'll go past Pennsylvania Avenue, we'll go up by Alabama Avenue. You don't really see the federal guys. But what I do know, they are over there on the South Capitol, you know, by the Navy Yard. They are over there.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. They're starting to spread out to North Capitol as well. They was all up through there today, on my way home, especially in Tyler House. They was literally running in Tyler House while I was sitting on North Capitol in traffic.
So I have seen them in the hoods. I've seen them in Ward 8, and I've seen them right off. If you go, you know, up Pennsylvania, if you cross the bridge into the other side of Anacostia, you go up Pennsylvania away from DC, like towards Maryland. You're not seeing them up in like cross Minnesota. There's an elementary school on the right side. Left and right side if you keep going up Pennsylvania that direction. So I seen them on that right. That little area over there is a combination of projects and low income, and then there's some like mixed communities and middle income. You know, it's like regular. You know, it's like a lot of folks in that area. That's kind of where they've been hanging out. To where I personally seen them. So all that to say is like I agree everything you guys said. They pushing the crime out because of the displacement and this what they call gentrification. So people don't have anywhere to live. So they're going to I think St. Charles County is like the new, you know, place to be, and that's where a lot of it is going to. Like it's going beyond PG County all the way to St. Charles County, and then the other direction. All that to say though is like I just feel like all we're talking about is very temporary, right? Like I do think they will have some effect on lessening crime in these areas that they're frequenting. It's going to go right back up once they leave, right? Unfortunately, and I just think that this entire effort is very much window dressing, and it's very I don't know, man. Like I don't feel like is genuine, right? There's no effort to kind of get to like the root cause. Like, why are we even having violent crime issues? But by the way, side note, we're like, it's like a 30-year low of violent crime in DC. So let me just say that. Like, we're at the lowest point in 30 years of violent crime in DC. But there's pockets, right? There's pockets of issues in DC that affects, tourism, business. People feel unsafe, like Deuce alluded to at the very beginning of the segment. You had someone from Doge, they got assaulted, and so that kicked everything off. But statistically, looking at the numbers, violent crime is down a 30-year low. So all that to say is, I don't think this is a very genuine effort. However, if you're trying to affect some real immediate areas, and like I mentioned earlier, in the Philadelphia person that wanted to get this presence, Reevy talked about Dallas, maybe in a certain neighborhood, that may happen. You may get some results. I just don't think they're long term.
Yeah, and that's that's the thing that's really the question, right? Like, if this does work, then what? Like, if crime drops 45% over the next 30 days, then what? Is it going to stay? Right? Or are the people just not coming outside? Like COVID. Like, during COVID, I know the numbers are crazy low. Right? It's because nobody was outside. So go ahead, Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just wanted to touch on some of the points that Ceelo was talking about, as far as like when they say we're trying to clean up, right? Just my observation, right, when I was on the south side, DC, southeast or whatever, this weekend, there's a lot of architecture that is still standing but is abandoned. Like you have you have Uptown, that's there's pretty much no room left, and then you have Southeast, that's it's a huge area in DC. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, is this really a cleanup of crime, or is this trying to get some of the tenants and some of the owners of these older buildings to let go of their property, flee, right, and have FBI and police all over the South Side DC to then take over some of these abandoned buildings and knock them down, demolition, and start building some new architecture? Like, what is the real motive, right? Because if Ceelo is saying that crime has been down lowest than it's been 30 years, then it's like there has to be some type of ulterior motive. And we know who Trump is, right? He's a capitalist. Like, let's just keep it honest, right? Like, if there's business to expand, like that was just a thought in my head. How you guys feel about that?
I will say, like, to your point and Ceelo's point, 20-30 years ago, organized crime was still at a peak, right? Like Ceelo said, there are pockets, right? And keep in mind, how long has the Nationals been here?
Since 05.
Right? So that kind of locks in with what you were saying, right, Ceelo?
That's correct.
They took all of these projects and they moved them. So I don't know for a fact, but I can pretty much almost guarantee that within that 20 years that the crime has dropped, it increased in PG County.
Agree. Yeah, agree. And agree. I think the crime rate being so low in DC probably is counter to what's happening in PG County, Montgomery County, St. Charles County, Mitch, out there where you are, Loudoun County, and Arlington. Probably not to a level that, to where it's insane, but it's probably a lot higher because of it. So yeah. And Mitch is right. There may be some ulterior motives, and you clean up some streets in areas like DuPont Circle, and areas like Federal Triangle, in the judiciary square, you all of a sudden you have a cleaner set of situations, and now all of a sudden you may get more interested property developers, whatever, right? And so now you no longer, you move these home. They're literally they're literally moving home. It's like the saddest thing that I've ever seen. They're moving homeless people. They're coming in, crashing their tents, and they're taking all of their belongings. That is just crazy. And then they're literally popping them throw them in a truck and get them out of there. They're not giving them a solid place to stay. Most cases, they're claiming that they will, but then that's a different conversation, right? I mean, if you ever been to a homeless shelter, it's not always the safest place, and so on and so forth. So it's a big deal in terms of homeless and where they are being moved to. So you got the cleanup of the homeless, you got the cleanup of the specific areas that to Mitch's point, you may also now affect property values and be able to get more interested people to invest. Boom, you now have an opportunity for economic development. So yeah, that's definitely a possibility or a theory.
Because like I think, and to your point, Mitch, I don't think it's about over there where the Mystics are, right? Like those buildings over there, like they shut down half of St. E's and they put that facility up there, right? And what do you think happened to all those people, right? That was being cared for in that facility over in St. E's. What do you think happened to them? It ain't another St. E's nowhere. Like they didn't build nothing else for them, right? Like they gave them back then when they closed it down. They probably gave them a bag of tokens and said, go do your best. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not about Southeast. I think it's more about Northwest, right? Downtown, Capitol Hill, right? I believe that they wanted for this the what is it, 250, whatever, however old it is. Like I think they really want to do something where it's on a national stage and they want to show it off. Right? Like he said, I want this to be what's the thing he was talking about? And because now it's about the Smithsonian, right? Now it's about taking away the history of slavery. But it was another word used. Oh, I can't think of what a word it used. And it wasn't like it was just like a regular old word that you wouldn't think a president would make. But I forgot what it was. But yeah, man, it's about making downtown look clean. And the way they're going to do that is exactly what Ceelo. They're going to destroy their homes. They're going to take them and they're going to drop them off somewhere, right? Because like homelessness is in most cases is a mental disorder, right? It's not just saying, hey, like here's somewhere you can go wash up and live, right? I think they did. I think to Muriel's credit, CJ, like she did try that, right? She did try to get them a community where they all can, they had like apartments and all that other stuff, but they don't want to. They want to stay outside. It's a mental disorder in most cases. They want to be outside, right? They want to be homeless. So. But like Ceelo said, that's a whole different discussion and a whole, like, I don't know. It's so much to that part about homelessness, right? But yeah, I think it's about cleaning up downtown for the most part. But what's going to happen when these 30 days are up? Is he going to extend it? I think they will. But you know what they won't do, y'all? They won't give it statehood. They won't give DC statehood, right? Because they know it's going to be a Democratic state.
Right.
So they definitely not going to do that. But I did want to just, and this was good, man. So see, I underestimated the federal takeover. So next week we will do We will do socializing social media, the COVID effect on how we socialize in 2025. We'll do that next week. Go ahead, Mitch. You got something you want to say? Oh, he ain't listening. Like he still had his hand up. And I appreciate like some people, you know, far away, that's listening to what's going on over here. You know, our man Cody over there in Utah. He said, you know, he loved hearing us, you know, our perspective of what's going on over here because, you know, across the world, you know, across the world, you know, they are seeing this and, you know, might not actually know, like, is it really working? Like they see people like on social media, walking the mall, you know, crying, I feel so protected, bro. You could do that for the last 100 years. You could be on the mall and run 4 o'clock in the morning for the last 100 years. There's always Secret Service out there. Like that's never been an issue on the mall by the reflecting pool. Like that's not an issue, but that's what people that's not here is saying, Ceelo. You know what I'm saying? So like it gives them a false impression of what's happening. Like is some things working? Yeah. Like right? Like they did a few raids, end up getting a homicide suspect that DC police been looking for just randomly.
And
You
even
know?
some states are sending over more troops to DC.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one drive I saw DEA, ATF, and SWAT all like working together.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro.
Yeah, we did.
Like there's a video at an apartment complex. You know, they ran up in the building and like the whole neighborhood was just outside. You know what I'm saying? And like you can see the vests. Some of them had ATF, some of them had DEA, some of them had FBI. Yeah, like it's like a whole joint task force.
It's insane, man.
Right, and I think I mean it's an extreme. It's very extreme, right? I think the whole point of this conversation is about is this level of police enforcement appropriate for what you're trying to solve, right? It's the standard, it's the classic. Does the punishment fit the crime, right? Are we doing too much, or are we doing it just right? And that's the question. You know, you walk outside your house, your job, you go to the metro, and we're talking about DC, but I'm telling you, this can happen to everyone who's listening, wherever you live. You imagine going to work and you're literally passing by. Just last weekend, right? Just last weekend, I was at Union Station dropping off a rental car, and I walk outside. I see a full up people mover. That's AKA Humvee. Humvee, rocking and rolling. They have their 40 cal on top of the vehicle, and they have ammunition ready to go. Like, where am I? Like that's what we're talking about. That could happen in your city, right? In Dallas, New Jersey, you know, in Philly, Newark. It could be New York City, Chicago. Like, is that going to now? DC is dealing with it well, because I feel like DC is the city is unique. We're used to a little bit of a police presence. We have a lot of agencies already. We have, you know, Metro Police Department. I mean, we have like literally Metropolitan, WMATA, Metro. Then we also have MPD. But we have a lot of different agencies. Capitol Police. We're kind of used to a little bit of police presence, but I don't think places like Chicago are, and Dallas, and LA, and San Francisco. That may not go over as well. So anyway, I felt. Yeah, go ahead, CJ.
Like to your point, like thankfully, like it hasn't been like any reports of excessive force. You know, like thankfully, right? But you know, before this gets over, like it takes one report of excessive force or brutality to happen for the city to go on outrage, bro. Like, and that's my fear. That's my fear.
Yeah, I think we you know, and all of this is sensitive. We know how, and someone mentioned you. I think CJ, you mentioned a summer camp. The relationship between Black and Brown community and police officers is real tenuous. You know, so the TLC you have to have in communities may not be there for some of these agencies. That's not their job. This isn't a regular job. They're used to federal task force stuff. They're used to other intentional activities. They're just sitting around in neighborhoods waiting for stuff to pop off. Are they gonna be patient with a woman that is having a panic attack, or a woman or a man that's have a mental health disorder and know how to de-escalate, right? We haven't even touched on that stuff. But that's real. And so to your point, CJ, thankfully we haven't, but it's a matter of time, right? Someone's gonna get jacked up for we've seen videos already where a woman is trying to step in and they take her and they handcuff her. So just give it. Unfortunately, I think that's just a function of where we live as a society, and that's why all of these efforts are it's a very, very, very delicate situation. Yes, well-intentioned potentially, but man, if it's not executed well, it's going to be real bad.
Yeah, it's going to be really bad. This was a good discussion, man. Let me see in the chat. We don't have anything in the chat, but I lost it. Okay, there it is. Like our fellow, you can look in the chat. I ain't gonna say it over YouTube, but you can look in the chat. Told me to look at 1933-38 militarization of police force in Germany. I read about 2 paragraphs, and I don't really want to read anymore. But if you want to, then you can. But let's just pray. Let's pray it doesn't get there. Oh my gosh.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Ceelo, got anything else? I don't know if anybody else want to come up. CJ, appreciate you. Riri, Mitch.
Yeah, this was good, man.
Everybody that retweeted, everyone that subscribed to the media channel. That's not the regular one we be on. It's a different one where we have other Commander shows on there. We got Commander shows that also include like the little cartoon karate stuff y'all like, and the gargoyles and the Star Wars ships and all that other stuff y'all like. So they do Commanders, and they do a lot of that stuff too inside the 405. So that's a pretty cool show to learn about Marvel and all that other stuff along with Commanders. You got the All NFL show on there, some other shows, and this is Riddle Radio. We're gonna start doing this is every Wednesday, all ones. We're running this every Wednesday, 10 o'clock. Next week's topics is going to be socializing social media, the COVID-19 effect. And Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Tomorrow will be the first one. We're going to do the radio Commanders 6:30 to 8. So if y'all up, come chop it up. We're going to do it the same way that we're doing this. See how that works. But yeah, that's all I got. Ceelo, you got anything?
Nah, man, I think it was a great first show, trying something different, right, between X and YouTube. So, subscribe to Deuce's mention, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends and family if you so willing. We want to talk about the things that affect our community, affect you as a family, as a people, and we want to keep it going. We want to provide some good content. And hopefully we'll have some future guests on that can give us a little bit more perspective on depending on the subject. But man, I appreciate y'all time, and y'all really appreciate y'all joining in and contributing.
All right, man, that's all we got. We appreciate y'all. We might open up a space for 5-10 minutes just to recap. If anybody want to come up, just to if you want to add anything about what can make it better. Anything you noticed or whatever. Tia say 6:30 in the morning. Yeah, it's football season. Tia is ready. She's talking some LMAO to see what had happened was. So she ain't gonna be there tomorrow. But yeah, man, appreciate all of y'all, man. Appreciate your time. We know your time is very valuable for you to spend it with us. We absolutely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.